So my character's name is Amrienor. Warforged is the species.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
what I like to do with Warforged, I like to
Oh,
think of it like golems,
okay.
less like mechanical for traditional fantasy setting. Valorous officer. So I'm a champion fighter. So I'm like a fighting machine. Motivation, spoil intelligence. Um, I have no idea what that means yet. It says I have hair, lavender hair. I'm just gonna say like lavender details. But the way I'm thinking about it is the stones or the runes or the glow in my eyes, like these are the things that may be colored lavender, which I just feel like is weird for a golem that was made to fight and kill to have lavender as like the softer associated with a plant with calming properties, that this is the color that my creator gave me. Feels like weird and interesting. I'm having a little bit of trouble reconciling this valorous officer with the enterprising. But let's look at my context. Gravedigger, blacksmith. I like the idea that perhaps I wasn't made to be a fighter. Perhaps I was made to actually dig graves, like very menial work. And I really like how this connects to a lot of these themes of death that are like weaved through. I was the construct that after countless individuals were ritually sacrificed, I was the one burying
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I actually belong to the Veiled as a servant of undertaking. I'm almost thinking about this as being part of the ceremony, being that this is like a god of the depths, that perhaps the grave digging isn't so much actually digging graves as it's tying weights to the bodies and sending them down to the depths of the ocean. I think the enterprising actually helped me create the through line here because I think he was made not needing to breathe. He was able to do a lot of these final rites with these sacrifices and maybe even rode with the body down to the depths and did some sort of rite at the bottom of the sea to finish the ritual and then would return up out of the water. And I really like the idea. They don't just like cast these bodies aside, like they're returned to the sea, they're given to the depths, and that there's some creature that was actually built to assist with that. I'm going to have this primary quest of figuring out who made me. I like connecting that to this spoil intelligence. Like there's something about who made me that will make the spoil intelligence motivation make sense. But this enterprising piece is like I started off as this ritual gravedigger basically for the Veiled, and I was enterprising. I wanted to rise above that. I am not just an automaton. I had this like desire to make something of myself. So I looked for opportunities, and the Veiled had an opportunity for me to become a smith. And so I learned that, and this led to me handling weapons and using weapons, and eventually I had enough familiarity with them where I got sent out to actually do combat and turned out I was good at it. And so I think that's the through line. And so I kind of rose up through the ranks of the Veiled. No longer do I send people to the depths that have already been killed, but now I am somebody who kills for the Veiled as one of their fighters. And I would even say that this valorous officer perhaps doesn't resemble who I am in the present, but is about who I'm becoming. That I am better as like this fighter. That's something that got acknowledged by the Veiled, and that's why I can have continued to kind of move up through the ranks. But I haven't hit my peak yet. I'm still like learning and being trained, just like a soldier for them at this point. Postcard collector, I don't know where that comes in. I feel like that's a fun little like quirk that maybe, even though I'm this like death robot that has become, this intimidating fighter, I have this like affinity for maybe like small little pictures of things, written words or paper. Uh, I don't know what.
You're looking for clues, you're trying to find your maker. Maybe you collect like bits of information, papers, that sort of thing. We can spin it that way.
Yeah.
Or you could just have a fun hobby.